It's called to order. Clock. Please rise to the pledge of allegiance. I have a flag in my window here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty and justice for all.
for liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, get to show off my pants. Yeah. Okay. Moving down. We are being broadcast over YouTube, I think. I'm not sure if we're live anymore on channel 12 right now, but Clerk Wright, would you please take the roll?
He's on mute, Kevin. He didn't hear you, I don't think.
I got it. Okay, Trustee White. Trustee Miller.
Here.
Trustee Martin. Trustee
Unmute.
Martin.
Unmute Kevin Martin.
He's here.
Okay.
Trustee Frazier.
Here,
Clerk Wright is present. Treasury Bud.
Here.
Supervisor McNair.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Executive summary of the revised agenda is basically we're going to be doing our consent agenda, which is basically just paying the bills. We have a presentation from the Belleville Area Rotary Club giving out some scholarships. These are $5,000 of personal scholarships. They're quite healthy. We then will have by the revised agenda, if we allow it, a discussion of the governor's move to phase 4 in our area. We will then move on to a reading of an ordinance to zone some property that is in industrial that they have a house there and they like to keep it that way. We also have a fireworks display permit that we will be discussing. We also would like to talk about Harbor Club Apartments taking over the tennis court and starting opening it up, refurbing it as a township park with the pickleball courts. We'll then have a discussion regarding the approval or not approval of doing the German volunteer program this year. That's all I've got. I'd like to begin by asking for a revised, for approval of a revised agenda, adding discussion of the governor's move to phase 4 as line item number 1. Can I get a motion?
Supervisor.
Thank you, Trustee Frazier.
I
Support.
move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you.
Support.
All right, the revised agenda, correct?
The revised agenda.
Okay, any discussion? I got you, Trustee Miller. Any discussion? Hearing none. I guess I've got to do roll call on every item. So please roll call, clerk.
Okay, Trustee White, I guess he's not with us. Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Trustee Martin.
Yes.
Trustee Frazier.
Yes.
Yes for me. Treasury Bud.
Yes.
Supervisor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Why do we need to do a roll call on every item you said?
Because it's hard to, actually, there's been some different things I've heard, but it comes down to, we don't know who's saying yes and who's saying no without
All
it
right.
in this scenario. Trustee Martin, could you make a motion for approval of the consent agenda? Read the consent.
Supervisor, I make a motion we adopt the consent agenda with the following items. Number 1, board meeting minutes of May 5th, 2020. Prepaid list of May 7th, 2020. Prepaid list of May 14th, 2020. Prepaid list of May 21st, 2020. Prepaid list of May 28th, 2020. Voucher list of May 19th, 2020. And voucher list of June 2nd, 2020.
Support.
Who supported?
Sherry.
Okay, Treasurer Bud. Okay, I've got a motion. I've got support. Hearing no discussion. Roll call vote.
Okay, Trustee Martin.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Trustee Frazier.
Yes.
Treasury Bud.
Yes.
Yes for me. Supervisor McNair.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Public hearing, we have none. First item of business would be You're bringing, okay, great. First item of business would be a presentation by the Belleville Rotary Club for student scholarship certificates. Joyce Rehoviak, I believe you're on the line. Hello, Joyce. You should be open.
Get that, Sue.
Hello, Joyce. Joyce? Okay, well, every year the Belleville Rotary Club gives out scholarships. They're very healthy scholarships, $5,000 scholarships. This year, usually they give out 5 scholarships. This year, they're giving out 3. They do have a point system, and these are the 3 that met the point system. And the first person is Joseph Budd. Joseph Budd is, of course, a Belleville High School person. I wish I could tell you where he's going to. Gets a nice plaque.
Ramekin. He plans to go to Eastern and he wants to study construction management. He's been in the band for 4 years. He got the community service program because through the 4-H group, he has been instrumental in being there probably ever since he was 9 years old, helping kids that come from the different school districts learn what 4-H is and how to take care of animals. So that's why he got the community service. He's a very excellent student. He's been with the Wayne through their Ford program, and he earned the gold ribbons for the Honor Society through the classes he was taking there. So Grandma's very proud, and so is all his family.
We can tell Grandma's proud.
Good.
Well, we look like we might be having I'm not sure if this is the same person I think it is, but it might be a run on the treasurer's office. Bellingham.
It sounds like it.
Coincidental.
Bellingham's daughter. Treasurer Rudd, can you tell us a little bit? I know she's in softball.
Yeah, she was a softball. They made district champions last year, and unfortunately they didn't get to do the end of this year. She has also played in the band. She's been active in the Honor Society. She plans to go to Eastern. She's not sure what her major is going to be yet, but she is a very excellent student. And of course, I'm very proud of her because us treasure people, we got smart kids.
I'm thankful. All right, let's see how smart you are. The last one is Colin Atard. Colin Atard, I do not know, but obviously he made the point system and he got in, and he's got $5,000. And if you're a Van Buren resident, and your kids, you should not forget our local service groups. They give out a lot of pretty nice tuition scholarships. So congratulations, Colin. We're going to have these sent out to them after we get you guys to sign them. Okay. Joyce, I hope you did a great job, Joyce. Was representing them, and one of the many problems with Zoom meetings like this. Other announcements. Does anybody else have any other announcements? Because I have a few. No? Okay. First of all, first of all, I want to talk shortly about French Landing Dam. I wrote something out on that. With the collapsing of the Wixom Lake Dam and the flooding of the town of Sanford, our French Landing Dam safety is a priority issue that is not going away. I mean, we get calls on it now and emails on it, and it's stopped in the streets. I am sure all of you are. We've been asked a lot of questions about the dam the last month. The fact is, the dam is regulated by a federal department called FERC. FERC makes much of the information of this dam non-FOIAble. So if you're trying to get information out of it, we may have it, good or bad, but we can't give it to you. So we technically can't give out the reports, good or bad. The French Landing Dam has been declared a crucial piece of infrastructure by them, and many of the documents that we have in-house, we have been told we cannot release. This is under the guise that the dam represents critical energy infrastructure and is limited as to what information we can release. So it is difficult to provide documents to back up any findings, again, good or bad, okay? So in the interest of being transparent, I am proposing this dam review, that we have a dam review of pertinent information and we send that to the Environmental Commission to have them research it. I will be tasking them to gather the facts and come up with a means to get the facts to ascertain the condition of the dam. One of those may be calling in Eagle Creek to ask them to do a presentation on the dam and see what information they could let out. It is of the utmost priority, I know, of this board to protect the residents and the property of Van Buren Township, and there is nothing more important to that end than the safety of that dam and the existence of that lake. So I'm proposing that we do this. I think it's the only way that maybe we can figure out some way to get some information to the public without breaking every rule in the book. So okay with you guys?
Yeah. I think it's, detrimental for not having transparency there. I think that transparency on the condition of the dam is necessary for our residents, not only the ones that live nearby, but the whole township needs to know. So I hope that we get some kind of information from them that we can relieve our residents' concerns.
Unfortunately, the dam has been lumped into things like the nuclear reactors and such like that. So, okay. Also, I'd like to announce that Trustee Miller got another. Oh boy! I hope I don't shut this down. Okay. Trustee Miller got another grant for $5,000. Congratulations. $5,000 feeds like 50 to 100 people. And this year, because we had to spend the money very quickly, we sent it to people who know how to spend it really quickly, and that's the churches. Belleville First United got the food, got it out there. Trinity Episcopal, and there was one other. Reggie, what was the other?
It was Van Buren Public Schools, Owen Intermediate PTO.
Okay. Food
closet.
And I know Enbridge is sometimes a hot word to say, but they state in their letter they're here to improve the quality of life in the communities where they live and work. They are about safety, they say, and they also about community, and they gave this money to help support community and to build community. So I have to say thank you to Enbridge. It was a wonderful thing that they did, and we hope they do it again. Thank you.
Supervisor, I'm sorry to jump in as your moderator. Trustee Paul White is on the line. He was having technical difficulties, so he is here as a phone call in.
Wonderful. Thank you. Can you hear us?
I can, but I'm not sure you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, very good.
Okay. Also, I'd like to bring up the fact that our communications department put together a video of that wonderful season. They went to most of the game in the football Belleville High School season. They went to every game. They talked to the community. They saw the signs. They put together an incredible thing. They were going to do this on June 4th and have a virtual showing in March with members of the football team and a panel and a coach. They're very excited to do it. Pete Kudlak's extremely excited to do it. We're having a little scheduling problem though, so we're going to have to push that back. But it's basically about creating community and how this team brought this community together. And it's really, really a heartfelt, wonderful video, and I'm excited when we ever get to show it. So it's coming, but it's not coming in.
I'd just like to say, as a former school board member, the sports program of Belleville is excellent, and we have a great athletic department, and you'd be surprised on how important sports are in bringing a community together. And I think the screening of More Than a Game will be well received by the community.
Here,
To
here.
me, how that school has come back, and not come back, but how good it is. It's got incredible programs. It's got band, state, nation-round renown. It's got nation-round sports. It's got robotics. It's got every single solitary club out there. They're putting kids into the Ivy Leagues. They're putting kids into the top universities in the country. we should be really proud of where our schools have been going. So, next item is the governor's one. Hold on. That'll be it. Okay, so can we move on now to the next one? Does anybody else have an announcement? Right? All right. Anybody in the public, Alicia? Yep. Bert?
Not that I can see at this time. Again, if you would like to make a public comment, please raise your virtual hand.
Supervisor, I'd just like to say that the DDA spotlight was Beirut Lapida, who features Mediterranean cuisine. They're the spotlight this time, and reopening retail on Thursday, June 4th is a big move forward. And restaurants and bars will be open on June 8th, which is, you know, good for our economy and good for our socialization so we can get out. I'm glad to see we're reopening.
Supervisor, I guess I'd like to say that the clerk's office, we have sent out a little bit over 6,300 permanent absentee applications. Those applications were sent out by the clerk through the clerk's office. The Secretary of State will be sending out the remainder of the registered voters application to everyone. I got an email from her today saying that a portion of them went out yesterday, and the rest will be going out today and tomorrow. So every registered voter should receive an application. It's up on that voter to determine whether they want to vote that way or not. So, but everyone will receive an application. Okay.
I know the clerk's office is back at 100%. It seems every day. Okay, we have no unfinished business. And so we're moving on to discussion. Item number 1 under the revised agenda is discussion on the governor's move to phase 4, June 8th. I'm not going to go into reading the agenda of what she's open. I think we all pretty much know what it is. My question is, oh, I'm sorry. My problem, not my problem. We basically made a determination what we're going to do. We said we'd open on June 8th when the 14th was the date, or the 15th. We'd open on June 8th. We'd basically get caught up with all the work that we've got backed up here, and then we would make sure our protocols work and it's safe for our employees and the people that come in, and then we would open the doors on the 15th as a hard open. I want to remind people that we were shut down on the 16th. We had a plan to open on April 24th. Then we had a plan to open on May 7th. Then we had a plan to open on May 22nd. Now we have a plan to open on June 8th. And although pushing plans back drives you nuts, but moving them forward isn't going to work very well. And we have a plan. I'm not asking you to vote on anything. I'm just asking you to say, we've got a plan. You don't mind, we're sticking to it. So that's basically what I'm saying. Any comments? Go ahead, talk.
Supervisor, I'd just like to say that I think we have to abide by the governor's, recommendations, and we should do everything that's possible. She has the data. She has the information from experts to say that it's not safe to reopen everything right away. So I agree with us doing it gradually, the 8th and then the 15th. I think it keeps our residents safe as they can be. And there's no guarantee that we won't get an outbreak again. But I think everybody's being as cautious as possible.
Any other?
Supervisor? Yeah. I've said all along, as long as we follow the governors and the CDC guideline, that I'm okay. She came out yesterday and said that she has left to stay home, and she opened businesses which include us. The essential business, which was us all along, but in my eyesight now, I mean, the stay home is lifted. I'm with Trustee Frazier, even though it's lifted, we do need to gradually open. That don't mean that we need to go hog wild in regards to just back to normal. We all know that. As long as we open gradually the first week, like I think you said it was going to be, they get everything prepared, skeleton crew with this, the second week, bringing everyone back gradually, not everyone back still in the same sense, but gradually, like as Trustees Frazier said, that stuff that still can be done on a rotational basis, I think still need to be done on a rotational basis, even though we're open. We don't need to be up on each other because, I mean, I think that's still, let's say, a precaution. So, yeah, I'm okay with opening on that. I mean, gradually getting back on the 8th and opening, I guess, you were saying open the doors on the 15th, but that need to be a protocol that need to make sure that all the precautions and the necessary procedures are put in place, and at the same time, not necessarily having everyone back at the same time either.
Okay.
Supervisor, I think we have to train our employees on how to handle incidents with our residents and how to protect themselves. They need to be trained and they need to be provided personal protection materials.
It's all on the plan. Trustee Miller.
I know that we talked about having our events canceled through July 5th. Is there any plans to change that right now?
Not, the full times have not, no, at all, not at all.
Okay, because we need to be, like everyone has said, slow and steady wins this.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
Supervisor.
Trustee White.
Yes. I would love to see us open, but I think we need to take every precaution that will benefit our employees. I still think that we should follow the 6-foot rule and maybe only open up the first week for 4 hours a day and see how that goes. But we have to protect our employees, and we must demand the 6-foot rule and the wearing of a mask at least until the 15th, and then take a look at it after that and see how that goes and how things are going. But to me, we still need to protect our employees. We still let them know, the residents know, that we're doing everything we can to protect our employees and to protect them. So I think we should look at the amount of hours we're open, insist and not allow admittance unless they're wearing a mask, and require all of our employees to still wear the mask, and move forward from that for at least a week or 10 days.
Okay, that's the current plan that we've got. So it sounds like we're all speaking as one. So I'm gonna
through the chair. I'd just like to say that as most everybody knows, there's been employees in there. We have plastic shields on the counters. My girls have been given plastic face shields. They have plastic masks. They've got rubber gloves. So we've done an awfully good job with the people that have to come in because we have to keep things up. I think they feel very secure in what we've done. We've got the floor marked with the 6-foot markers. There's hand sanitizers there. We have a system where they can go on their phone. They have 3 questions to answer each morning and take their temperatures. So I am very confident that we are doing all we can to protect the employees. And we also know that everybody won't be in the building on the first week unless they've made an appointment. And then after that, everybody that comes in the building will have a mask. So we haven't been just sitting back here. I think we've done a good job with what we've done.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to move on then to the next line item, which is discussion. Excuse me. I have discussion on a first reading of an ordinance for Savage Road to go from light industrial to residential. We know what's going on over there.
Supervisor. New business item number 1, discussion on and to consider approval of the first reading of ordinance 6-2-20 parentheses 1 to rezone parcel V 8310599 0035000, known as 1043 Savage Road, from M1 light industrial to R1B single family residential. And as everyone knows, that whole area is being rezoned from light industrial to R1B single family, and we should move forward with this for that entire area and encourage those residents, get those properties rezoned as quickly as possible.
Okay. Can I get a second?
Support. Support.
Okay. Director Power, it should be a softball to you, but go ahead. Gotcha.
Sure. Yeah, it should be a bit of a softball. Thank you very much, board. And thank you, Trustee White, for the introduction, and Supervisor McNamara. I see that I'm a little bit, my display is a little bit dark here, but I'm going to share my screen. So hopefully that'll take up most of the attention. I'd just like to show a graphic that describes this request in a little bit more detail and gives you a little bit of perspective on how these have been handled in the past year. There have been a series of rezoning petitions similar to this one, based on the fact that there are a number of residentially used properties in the area east of downtown Belleville, north of Savage Road, and west of Martinsville Road. They've historically been used mostly residentially. There are some industrial businesses on Martinsville Road, but the idea here is for residents who are using their properties residentially, we want to offer the opportunity to allow them to rezone for full utilization of that space as residential. That's becoming increasingly important because we find that buyers of property cannot get financing based on having the split zoning, and perhaps cannot develop their property fully as residential with a split industrial zoning or full industrial zoning. So here's just a display of the 7 or so parcels, including the one being discussed right now, that have been reviewed in the past year. A little bit closer look at, first of all, let me know if you cannot see my screen.
We're good.
Okay, good. So a little bit closer look at the parcel that's being reviewed right now. This is the parcel of Charles and Patricia Revis. It's about 3.3 acres in area. Again, is currently zoned split M1 light industrial and R1B single family residential. The intent is to fully rezone to R1B single family residential. I gave a little bit of context about why they want to proceed. This is consistent with the master plan. The zoning works dimensionally for them to continue to use that property as residential. And so aligned with how we as a township handled a number of these properties last year, we encouraged any resident that expressed interest in applying for these rezonings, and we facilitated a fee-free rezoning application. So this is the last in a current series of such requests. The Planning Commission had a public hearing on this request on March 11th, right before everything was starting to shut down. And they recommended the approval that you're considering tonight to adopt the first reading of a rezoning ordinance. So I'm available for questions if you have any. Otherwise, I recommend from a staff standpoint to proceed with adopting the first reading of the rezoning. I did inform the owners of tonight's meeting and I shared the link, but I'm not sure if they're here, but that's okay because as with most of these, I think staff has spoken for the residents that we've helped to get through this process. So I'm glad to answer any questions.
We are here.
Hi, Trustee Miller here. My question is, are we going to be waiving any fees for this?
Yes, this application was free to the resident.
Thank you.
And was that about $600 usually?
Depends on the acreage, but it can be, there's a scale, I believe it's 600 for a certain acreage over a certain area. This one is a large acre parcel, so I think that's right. I can check.
Okay. And I had one question. Will we get more taxes if it's zoned residential than industrial?
My understanding, and this is more of an assessing question, but my understanding is the way that parcels are taxed are based on their use and not based on their zoning. And so the tax implications should not really change from this.
No.
And are the utilities it will support rezoning it to residential, correct?
That's right. Yep,
Okay.
there's frontage and utility availability.
Does anybody else want to speak on this? And I can't see anybody right now. I mean, I can only see.
No.
Sharon.
No, I'm
If I
good.
could interrupt really quickly, this is Ryan, one of the moderators. The owners, Charles and Patricia, are here and talking is permitted for them if they would like to speak.
Want to say something?
I'd like to thank you folks for doing this for us. And I'm not sure, exactly what we have to do, but we're very appreciative of what you're doing for us.
We're here for you. We're happy to do it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles and Pat, for following the rules.
Okay, I have a motion and I have a second. Hearing no further discussion, clerk, could you call a roll?
Yes. Trustee Frazier,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Martin.
Yes.
Yes for me. Treasurer Bud,
Yes.
Supervisor,
Yes.
motion passed.
Thank you. Next item on my line item
Thank
is
you.
discussion on, oh, you're welcome, Chuck, Pat. Discussion on and to consider approval of fireworks display permit application by Michigan Fireworks Club. Can I get a motion?
Supervisor, I make a motion on the discussion to consider approval of the fireworks display permit application by Michigan Fireworks Club.
Support.
I saw Martin and you go at the same time.
Okay.
You got one of the other ones. All right, Director Best, could you take it away?
Yes. Thank you, board, for our second virtual board meeting, for letting us present today. Tonight, we'll be discussing the action item for the granting of approval for a fireworks display by the Michigan Fireworks Club. Michigan Fireworks Club is made up of residents of the township. In this case, the chairperson or the head of the club is Joshua Edwards. He was invited, but he doesn't necessarily, and here he is. Great. Tonight, we'll be asking you to approve a commercial fireworks display permit application by the Michigan Fireworks Club to set off fireworks on Saturday, July 3rd, 2020, from a barge on Belleville Lake near the Belleville Yacht Club located at 831 East Huron River Drive, and authorize the supervisor or his designee to sign said permit. The show will take place on the 4th of July holiday. The application is in compliance with the fireworks ordinance. In the packet, there was the application, permit, license, itinerary, insurance, and a map. And there is a review letter from Dave McNally, which is in here as well. If you remember last year, there was a display that was done by the Michigan Fireworks Club at the Belleville Yacht Club. This is over the lake. There were no problems with the event. They coordinated with our public safety department, made sure the lake was closed off in the areas of the barge so that there wasn't travel back and forth or past the barge. And from what I understand, the show was a great show, and the Michigan Fireworks Club is looking to have a second year of a great show. With that, I would offer Mr. Edwards if he'd like to speak to his application.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much for reviewing the application. It's an honor to be able to provide this for Van Buren Township and Belleville. And the Belleville Yacht Club is supporting us, and we just like to do this for the community.
And with that, I'd be happy to answer your questions regarding the application.
Any questions?
Supervisor, I'd just like to thank the BYC and the Fireworks Club and Mr. Edwards for bringing a really well-received show every year. The residents count on this show and they seem to enjoy it from the feedback that I get very much. They do a great job. It's safe and it's always entertaining. So I'm all in on it because it's for the residents' enjoyment on a very important day of independence for America.
Supervisor White, I mean Supervisor McNair. Supervisor.
Clerk Wright.
Okay, I thought I lost you for a minute there.
Yeah, I said it 3 times, but yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Edwards, I have no problem with the fireworks, but my only question would be to make sure that I guess my only incentive would be to make sure that whatever the ratio is at that time, this is going to be, I say in July. I know we canceled our fireworks show, but whatever the ratio is going to be in regard to attendance there at the area, that we keep it at the whatever that ratio that the governor has intact at that point, and make sure that you still exercise social distances in regards to whatever it is at that particular time. Right now, for outdoor event, I know it's 100. I don't know what it's going to be in July, but whatever it is, I would hope that we maintain that precaution and also exercise that social distances.
I agree with the clerk, except the good thing about fireworks is you can see it from your backyard usually, or from your porch. So that makes it, well received and can be well attended, even if you don't have to congregate. It's not necessary.
Through the chair,
Trustee Miller.
is there any consideration to go ahead and go forward with our fireworks display now that the order has been lifted?
We couldn't even get it. We
And
couldn't.
the money has been paid to the vendor?
The money hasn't been.
No, the money hasn't been paid.
We never got a
Will
contract.
it have to be paid?
No, we never got a contract with them.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
Well, and like I said, and also Trustee Miller, you don't know what the precautions is going to be at that day. I mean, we get thousands of people at our show at Beck Road. We don't
That's
know.
true.
We don't know.
But you'll
We
get
don't know what.
thousands at the BYC as well, and you have to
Well,
use the rules. Yeah.
Well, that's why I was asking that hopefully we make sure that that still happens. We won't be having an issue with that in regards to the social distancing, whatever it is. I mean, the virus is not going anywhere by July.
Right.
So, and we need to make sure we understand that just because we're open don't mean that we can just do whatever.
We can't.
We still can't, and we need to remember that.
Any other questions? No? Hearing no further questions, I have a motion by Trustee Miller, supported by Trustee Martin. Hearing no further questions, roll call, sorry. Clerk Wright, you have to call roll.
Really? Trustee Frazier,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Treasurer Bud,
Yes.
yes for me, Supervisor,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you.
Thank you, board.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next item is pickleball. Basically, we have a discussion to consider approval of a 10-year ground lease with Habitat Company LLC to lease a parcel, which is at the corner of Buckley and Denton, Harbor Club Apartments, Harbor Club condos. I do have, there were people that wanted to attend this meeting that couldn't, but they did end up sending in some emails, so I will read them quickly. First one is Joseph Jomani. He says, we certainly miss playing pickleball at the township. When I say play, it is more to help us senior citizens stay active. So it is more of an active, healthy benefit. I believe outdoor pickle courts would also be utilized by senior citizens, as well as other adults and school-aged children. My grandchildren in Grand Rapids are taking pickleball at their middle school, so that age groups are also taking part in this activity. Although I would prefer the courts at the Township Hall, anywhere that they would be built in the township would be great. Next one is from Lynn and Stan Johnson. My husband and I are in favor of outdoor pickleball courts. We play at the senior center and really miss playing. The next one is from Mark and Penny Young. We are excited to have an opportunity to have an outdoor pickleball court for the residents of Van Buren Township. We enjoy playing pickleball, and when playing outside, we have to go to the neighboring communities. It would be wonderful to have an outdoor court in our own community. Thank you for trying to do this. We are in support of the outdoor courts at the Harbor Club area. I'd like to open it up for discussion or to go to the director by asking for a motion for approval.
Through the chair,
Treasurer Bud?
I would make a motion that we approve the 10-year ground lease agreement with the Habitat Company LLC to lease parcel of record, the northeast corner of Beckley and Denton Roads for a pickleball court.
Support.
Chief Frazier. Okay, Director Best.
Well, as you remember from before, board, the current tennis courts at Denton Road and Beckley have been closed due to the condition of the facility. Staff, under the direction of the supervisor's office, has investigated the feasibility of the township leasing the property, renovating the existing tennis courts, and resurfacing of the existing parking lot. This investigation has led to the draft proposal presented below that allows a 10-year lease of the property with the construction of new outdoor pickleball courts and parking lot for an estimated $185,000. After discussions with the tennis court property owner, the Habitat Company LLC, a draft agreement has been presented to you today to lease the property for 10 years. Habitat Company would lease us the property for $1 a year. The tennis courts would be converted to pickleball, and the parking lot, of course, would be restored by a contractor that would be selected by the township. Van Buren Parks and Recreation Department would program use of the pickleball courts as part of the park system. Outdoor pickleball leagues would be developed, as well as drop-in play. Harbor Club residents would be granted a specific scheduled time for a league if they requested. This lease is a standard property lease that has been reviewed and approved by the township attorney. If the contract is approved to be signed, staff will move forward to bid out the restoration work. If approved, the project is anticipated to be completed by the end of August of 2020. Since the last time we spoke, we made a significant, we negotiated again with Habitat Company LLC, and they have agreed to pay the taxes for the property that we'll be leasing. So initially we would have been paying the taxes, and we've negotiated it back to where the landlord would be paying the taxes.
And add in the options, please.
Pardon?
The options.
Oh, the options, yes. There are additional years that can be added by agreement of both. There's the first option period is an additional 2 years, and the same conditions will be in place for that. And there is an additional second option period of additional 2 years, providing a 14-year window for our use of the leased property and improved pickleball courts. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Okay, any questions?
I'd just like to make sure that the maintenance of those courts will be taken care of and responsibility for Harbor Club. The grass cutting will be Van Buren Township's response. Is that correct?
We will maintain the oh, sorry, Director Best, go ahead.
So the courts and the parking lot areas would be and the fence and the netting, that will be maintained by Van Buren Township's Parks and Recreation Department. The grass cutting and any other maintenance that has to do with the grounds themselves will be maintained by the landlord, which would be Habitat Company.
I thought that the maintenance was Harbor Club. That's what I read, that Harbor Club was taking care of the maintenance and Van Buren Township would take care of the grass cutting.
The expense of maintenance really is the landscaping and maintaining the area around it. Once you built these things, they're pretty much good for about 15 years, which is about the length that we've got on this. So,
But if vandalism happened or something, happened, who would pay for that? I mean, does it matter?
we would,
We would?
we would.
Okay.
We can't, I don't think our community would do that.
Oh, no. We don't have those problems.
Question, Supervisor?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Will there be an additional rider insurance policy on these courts? How does that work since they're off-site?
Director Best can answer that, but we've already talked to him on Myra May. They would add it to our insurance.
It would be an additional policy?
We're self-insured.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. On this particular
So the,
situation?
Through the chair, it would just go through our umbrella policy on everything that we have. It'd all be included.
Okay, so you would add this.
Right. It wouldn't be
Okay.
an additional, it would just be under the township umbrella.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Supervisor,
Trustee White.
are we going to keep a pickleball courts open at the Township Hall?
And, after COVID passes, I'm sure we will. They're a hit, so yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I'm kind of excited about this because it adds another park to us. It's going to be an upscale park. People in the community, that those condos love the idea. They think that those tennis courts have become rotten looking. They're upset about it. Our Iron Bell Trail, if everything goes right, Wayne County is going to do a $500,000 fix in Van Buren Park, Iron Bell Trail. Once that thing's established, it may be a few years, but Iron Bell Trail will run right alongside this or next to it, whatever. But it'll be a really nice addition to the community in an area that, for an age group that really doesn't have an outside park for it. Are there any last questions before I call for a vote? Okay, I have a motion for approval by Treasurer Bud, supported by Trustee Frazier. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Roll call, please.
Aye.
Roll call.
Aye.
Trustee White,
Aye.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Frazier,
Yes.
Treasurer Bud,
Yes.
yes for me, Supervisor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank
thank you,
you.
board.
So the last item today is the discussion of the approval of the German volunteer service program. Last year, we decided not to go forward with this because of certain problems. Jim Foley ended up coming forward. Jim Foley also wanted to know if he's on the line. He wanted me to make sure he said that he fully supports this program. And that was, he sent it to me in an email, kind of in that scenario. So I have the right to read that, I guess. But bottom line is, we decided that we couldn't give them a car. And one way or the other, we just couldn't do that. So we said no car, no insurance, no gas. We anticipated that nobody would want to come here anyway. Well, lo and behold, I guess an excellent young man decided to come forward. So I don't want a car. I don't need a car. I don't need gas, or I don't need insurance. I'll figure that out. I'll buy it on my own. I'll take the COVID test. I'll come over. But the question still stands: is this the time to bring over a student? I'm kind of for it, but other people think that it's not a good time. This is a bad time. There's too many questions to be answered. Can't even travel right now. So I guess I don't know which way to go. I don't even think I need a vote on this. What I really need is to know what the board wants to do, one way or the other. And so I'm going to call, I'm not going to ask for a motion for approval or support at this point. I'm just going to ask for Sherry Budd to speak of why she knows what she does.
Well, my concern is that First of all, he probably couldn't even get here right now because the board hasn't been open. The
Yeah.
next thing is when he came here, he would have to be quarantined for 14 days. So then there's the issue of where does he get quarantined? On the rare thing that he would get the disease on the airplane and come down with a fever, there's no way he could get home, and someone's going to have to be responsible. I don't think that this is a good time to be bringing anybody in from a foreign country here at this time, and the expense and the things that could go wrong that we wouldn't want to go wrong. I'm saying that maybe next year, but because of the fact that everything in the senior center is being closed down, and we don't even know for sure when we're going to bring them back, it's my thing that we should not be bringing someone from a foreign country at this time.
Okay, I got Lynette Jordan to speak on this matter, but it really probably is right. Okay, yeah. And then I'm going to go Trustee Miller. Okay. All right. So Lynette, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Could you on the German student and the whatever?
Yes. So I think the board is aware that this has been a program that we've had for over 10 years. We have the opportunity to have a bright young man come over. He wouldn't be coming until at least August or September. And that would be upon, of course, the approval of the board and the approval that the international travel is lifted. With those being said, I understand the concern of the COVID, and I have secured a place for him to be able to quarantine for 2 weeks when he comes over. In the event that he does get sick while he is here with COVID, again, I have a place for him to quarantine where he will be safe. It will not be in my home. I have secured housing for him. That would be with myself and my husband. He has agreed that if he's approved to come over, he will purchase a car, the insurance, the maintenance, fuel. This program, I just can't tell you enough how much it means to our members and the residents. I can tell you that for the last month, I've talked to many of our members and residents, and they are so excited to bring this program back if the board approves it. This is, as much as it is helpful to our center for $275 a month, we have someone who's committed to a 40-hour-a-week position. So, now more than ever, when the senior center opens back up, one of my main concerns is our front desk. Our front desk is run by volunteers. Well, our volunteers, I can't guarantee that one or any of them are going to come back and, in fear of the virus. So that would be one position that he could definitely assist us with, along with my utmost important thing that I want to see him do, and I've talked to him about this, is I want him to be the liaison between our township senior center and our people who are at home. And I'm not talking about our homebound, or specifically our homebound, who are unable to get out. I'm talking about the group of people that, if and when they are able to come back to the center, may very well not come back in fear of getting the virus. And this young man would be our liaison in between. He can be the communication and keep me as well as our center informed of needs, safety. We can keep them connected through technology. This young man speaks 3 languages. He's an A student. He has, for being 18, he has a wonderful resume he did a short internship at a police department in the drug and safety portion of the police department. He volunteered, I think he's still volunteering at his church for the past 2 years in the confirmation classes, along with a myriad of other things that he's done. He plays the piano. I've talked to him about, giving piano lessons. He can teach German. He could teach French. He can help us with computer classes, along with running our front desk and being our in-between. And I wish you could have heard some of the conversations. Even yesterday, I spoke to one of our members, 94 years old. She is exactly just what I told you. She said, when the center opens, she really doesn't know that she will be coming back right away. She was so thrilled about the program. She's part of our endowment committee, and I was talking to her about the program and the possibility of, maybe asking the endowment committee to, again, the possibility of maybe making a donation towards the program. And every year, the endowment committee has overwhelmingly stepped up and offered to donate towards the program if the funds were needed. So, of course, we are closed right now, so I'm not going to ask to hold a meeting with the endowment committee, but just the few that I talked to just on that committee, they are excited. So, overall, I just see with the day-to-day operations and the intergenerational aspect, it's just insurmountable. So I understand the concerns. I understand the concerns of the COVID. He is a bright young man. I FaceTimed with him. My husband and I did for over a half hour. I've texted with him. We've gone back and forth. I've met his family online. We would be so fortunate to be able to have this young man. So I am asking the board to please trust me in my judgment, and that you would approve this program and let it move forward. This is one positive thing right now that we can offer our residents and members. And during this time, there's not a whole lot of positive going on. So, it's still, even if the board does approve it, we still have to go through international travel. So if they don't lift the international travel, he can't come. I can tell you, I'm sorry.
Okay, I think we're going back over things we've already said. Trustee Miller's been waiting patiently. Trustee Miller?
Let me go back to what you said, Kevin. You said that it didn't require a board vote, but yet it's an agenda item, and it's to consider approval of the German volunteer service program. So
pick on me.
Actually, it's confusing that we don't need to vote on this, but yet we're talking about it without a vote.
Well, actually, the more you think about it, you do, because we killed the budget, and I'm going to have to put $4,000 or $5,000 into the budget under this line item. I did not want to paint anybody in the corner on the decision by having a motion for and everything else.
That's our jobs.
Okay.
So let me ask you.
Eventually, I'm going to paint everybody into the corner. Clerk, right is next, unless you've got something else to ask.
I do have some additional questions. So with this $275 stipend that we're paying, he's a volunteer. I get that. So there's a travel ban right now. He wouldn't come over till exactly when?
Nobody knows.
Okay, we don't know when he would come.
We do.
So we do?
Yes. He would not be coming anytime sooner. He would like to come if approved and if it is safe to travel. He would like to come sometime either late August or September, but he is open to when it is safe and when the travel ban is lifted.
So if he let me ask my question. So if he comes early September at best, when would he leave?
He would be here until next August. If he was here in September, he would typically be here through August next year.
And Director, we're not questioning your judgment at all. we absolutely as a board support you, but these are difficult times and difficult situations that we have to make these decisions on. And for me, it's about risk. It's about how many people he's in front of. Like you said, he would be that liaison to the people that are shut-ins or can't get out. So explain to me how that liaison portion would work. How would he be a liaison exactly?
So if I have a resident or a member that's in need of food, he may be the one that is going to be taking over the food out of our food pantry. He may be the one that maybe they have a technology issue. Maybe we can help them get connected with Zoom. My plan is to do weekly updates through Zoom. So, you know, if there's any possible way that we can connect our residents and members, especially our older population, it is needed. You know, a couple of things. I do have the funds, and it would be about $3,300 a year. I do have it in my budget. We do have a hiring freeze right now. So you know, without him, we very well may have a shortage and not be able to do our full programming of at the senior center if I don't have my volunteers back. So, you know, Reggie, with what you were saying, the possibility of this young man giving the COVID to one of our residents at home is no different than another volunteer from our center or an employee going over. We're going to do everything possible, as we've been doing now, in wearing masks, social distancing, in keeping our members and residents safe. So,
well, for the residents that don't know that, that's a conversation her and I had yesterday. That's nothing that I said just now. So because you brought that up, I'm glad that you did. So with him coming over here and he's in front of, say, 100 residents, where he goes to them because they're not wanting to come out, I have to look at risk. And yes, you have volunteers that are taking that risk, but they're here. Volunteers are already here, and that's how I looked at it. This young man is not. He'd have to come here, and you're taking on additional liability. I'm saying that this is a difficult choice. I support you. I support everything that you've done, but I have to look out for the safety of all. And we're not over this, as Clerk Wright had mentioned earlier. This isn't done. COVID's still out there, and it's about keeping everyone safe. Now, is it worth the risk versus the need? That's for the board to decide tonight. And I'd like to hear what others say about that.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna speak specifically to technology and specifically to risk, since I am the risk manager for the township. Director Jordan, I understand, and I've always supported anything that the seniors do, but I have to, in regards to risk, I think this is a very bad risk assessment to take, to bring anyone over from anywhere, no matter what, at this particular time. It's not a good choice, especially during these times. It's not going to go anywhere, I keep saying, in the next coming months. It's not going anywhere in the next, maybe even next year. We don't even know when the vaccine is going to be brought forth. So we're talking about bringing someone over from overseas to deal with the seniors. I totally can't get with that, any idea of that explanation. Also, it would be a liability. I couldn't even try to explain to MMRMA why we're making this decision. And I wouldn't even try. Why can't we, I mean, in regards to that, and then why can't we, I think, I'm not judging any criteria, or the gentleman is not, he's not smart or professional or intelligent, but I'm sure we can find someone from U of M, Eastern, or wherever, just as smart as this individual to do the same thing, and need volunteer hours to do the same work that this gentleman is going to do. that's been part of my question all along is why do we always have to look abroad for someone to do this work that we can get someone to do here? That's been a question of mine, you know, and I've been on board since probably the start of the German program, exchange program. But that's been a question I've always asked is why we have to look abroad to do something. We talk about building product here. Why do we have to look abroad to find a kid or a young man here that can do the same thing that one of our people can do?
All set?
Supervisor.
Trustee Martin, Trustee White, Frazier, right? Okay, so Trustee Martin.
Director Jordan and the rest of the board, I read the young man's resume and it was quite impressive. And I know that this program has been something that has been very successful during its course in the township. And I got to agree with Treasurer Bud that it is a risk that we don't necessarily need to assume at this point. And I'd like to ask Clerk Wright, when you were talking about risk, are you referring to the risk just because of the COVID or just risk in general of having this person here?
Well, in regards to both, right? It's specifically COVID, but other risks too. It's been in previous years we had risks regarding to giving them transportation. It's something we never should have done, but we've been doing that. And my risk manager actually encouraged us not to do it, and we did it anyway. But I know Lynette, you said that this gentleman don't want a car. I don't know how he's going to get around, but in the past, we've been giving them vehicles and cars to drive, which is a risk that we can't incur either. And our provider, which is MMRMA, when I asked, encouraged us not to do that. They can't tell us what to do, but they can only encourage us and give us the guidelines of what not to do. But it's up on us to actually incur the risk, and we have to deal with the circumstances when we incur the risk. So that's what I was talking about, actually both, Trustee Martin.
Okay, and I think that when the travel ban is lifted, maybe September, whenever it is, I think we probably can revisit this then. I don't think we should make a decision now one way or another.
The decision for this year would have to be made now.
Well, okay.
Okay. Trustee White and then Frazier.
Supervisor, I'm totally in agreement with this program. And it's not going to be until the 1st of September until a young man arrives here. And my suggestion would be really to be sure that when he steps off the plane, he takes a COVID-19 test. If he passes that test, then, we're on board. If he doesn't pass the test, we'll turn him around and send him a plane back there. I think that a individual with the recommendations and the experience and everything that he has would be beneficial to our seniors. And our seniors have really enjoyed and loved talking and discussing and learning from our German volunteers prior. So this would be very beneficial to our seniors if it could work, and would be very beneficial for the young volunteer. And I am in agreement, but my recommendation would be that he must take a COVID-19 test ASAP when he arrives in the States. And that would be one thing that I would demand. And also $275 a month. I don't think you'll ever get any young U.S. citizen or Michigan resident to work for $275 a month, because that's not even $75 a week. So I just think it's a concern, and this program has proven itself to be very beneficial to our seniors, and I look forward to it happening again, with the question being he must take a test when he gets off the plane. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Frazier.
Well, I think that the young man knows the risk and he's willing to take them. He sounds talented, smart, and he could be a great resource for our township. I don't see that we should cower out of fear of what might be, what might not be. If the individual knows that in our township, we've had very few, how many cases of COVID have we had? I mean,
Hundreds.
in the county.
Thousands.
Wayne County is the hot spot for the sheriff. Wayne County is the hot spot, about 7,000.
He's not coming until September, and I think he knows the risk and he's willing to take them. Would be a good resource for our seniors, working at the front desk and interacting with them. They've enjoyed the German students before. And as long as he's safe, I don't see, none of us, we don't know how we're going to be safe from anything. But I think just arbitrarily saying you can't come because you might get COVID we could all get COVID too. I just don't see that that's a legitimate reason not to have a young person who wants to come and share his culture and history of his country with our residents and our students.
Okay, I hear 3 for, and I hear 3 against, and 1 I'm not sure of. So I'm going to use my capabilities of making the motion. I, Kevin McNamara, make a motion to approve this year's German Volunteer Service Program. Is there a second?
Support.
Okay, I've got a motion, I've got a second. So I have no idea which way this is going to go, but I'm going to take the collective wisdom of the group, whatever it is, it is. Clerk, could you call the roll?
Yeah, Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
No.
Trustee Martin,
No.
Treasurer Bud,
No.
no for me. Supervisor,
Yes.
motion fails.
Okay.
You didn't get me.
Trustee Frazier, I thought I did. I'm sorry.
No.
Trustee Frazier,
Yes.
okay, motion fails. I'm sorry.
Trustee Frazier.
Yeah.
I thought I had my 1 going over you. I thought I said you. I'm sorry.
Okay. No.
I have one question on this.
Yes.
Through the chair. Maybe we look at it in, say, after the first of the year. Since he was going to run through next August. So I say we come back to this.
He'll
I
be
agree.
somewhere else, but yeah, we can look at it for next year, if that's the way you guys want to do it. It'll come up in the budget hearings, all right?
All right, fair enough.
Right.
It's a great program. No one's disputing it. It's just the
No.
time, the
Yeah.
times, these days and times. So yeah, let's bring it back later on.
Director Jordan, I know you've worked valiantly to find a place for him to quarantine, a place for him to live, and all the other things, but I'm sorry, I guess it's not to be this year, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your efforts.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you very much for your consideration. Good night.
Good
I have
night.
no further items. I have no reports. Is there anybody on public comment?
Yes, there is, Supervisor. We have Lamar who would like to make a public comment. Lamar, you can talk now.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lamar Weir. I'm one of the field representatives for Ingle. So thank you all for having me. Want to come on and introduce myself. But I did have a question about something that you all were speaking about earlier. Those scholarships that were awarded out, how much were they?
$5,000.
Okay, and you said each student was able to get 5,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good, huh?
That's a blessing. That is a blessing. And then my second one, for the Michigan Fireworks Club, you all did approve to give them the commercial license.
Yeah.
For private use.
For private use. Okay, perfect. And those were my two questions.
Lamar, before you leave, can you just state who you're with again? I think it kind of cut out, and your address for the record.
Yes. So my name is Lamar Weir, and I am one of the field representatives for Congresswoman Dingle. And what was the other? That was it. That's all you asked?
Yeah, that works. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We also have a public comment from Walt Rehoviak. Walt, you are allowed to speak. Will you also state your name and address for the record?
Walter, you're on mute. I don't know if our moderator did it to you.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, actually it's Joyce Rehoviak here.
Oh, yeah.
Just commenting on the scholarship. On May 19th, we had a Zoom meeting and we distributed the 3 scholarships out to 3 different people. And Michael Cole happened to be our keynote speaker that evening, and he did a fantastic job for these students to be able to follow through on futures for themselves. And we have Joe Budd, Haley Bellingham, and Colin Attard. Those 3 received a $5,000 scholarship each. And we were very proud to give that out to them. They did an excellent job. They spoke that evening. And we do appreciate your giving them a certificate as you usually do.
On behalf of the board and the community, I guess it's my position to say things like this. We are so blessed to have the Belleville Area Rotary Club. Wonderful for our community. Thank you.
Supervisor.
Trustee White.
Supervisor. Yeah, could you repeat those recipients, please?
Joseph Budd, Haley Bellingham, and Colin Attard.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Rotary will be planting the gazebo this weekend.
Oh, good. Thank you. Moving on. Is there anybody else that wishes to make?
The last thing I want to mention is just that Ashley Shukite has a nice comment. Thank you so much to everyone on the board for helping the community know about local resources via online and in the Van Buren today. And that is all I have. I do not see any more virtual hands raised. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
Does the board have any comments that they would like to make? Clerk Wright.
Yes, as we come out of this, well, we're not coming out of the pandemic, but as we still live in the life of the pandemic, even though we come out of the stay-at-home order, I just would like to emphasize that everyone needs to stay vigilant of what's going on and not think that we're out of the water as of yet. And I would like to ask, the reason why I'm so passionate about this, along with a lot of other things, because I think it's something that I've seen, I've said before, if you haven't lived this or seen this, it's harder for you to grasp. I've had numerous relatives, friends, and people that I know either had this virus and passed along with the virus. I think last time we had a meeting, I told everyone that I had a first cousin that was battling it. And 2 days later, I told the treasurer, and I think you, the supervisor, that he passed away. We went to school together, we played together, we grew up together, we graduated together. So once you know someone that has lost their life with this, it makes it totally different. You can relate to it differently. The state of Michigan, as of yesterday, when this stay-at-home was lifted, we had 57,397 confirmed cases. We had 5,491 pass away. Of that, unfortunately, 40% of those cases was either African American or Latino descent, which is 21,000 people. Of the the 4,100 deaths we had, 2,100 of those was African American. That's why I see it totally. I feel a little bit different than some others do, and I'm happy for the ones that do see it like me. But I see it a little bit different. It's a little closer to me because I have lived it. It's kind of like the George Floyd incident that happened, where we having people go and we having the young people protest. I get exactly what they're saying. I get what they're doing. I don't condone the destruction that some of them are doing, but the outcry that the youth are doing and saying is well represented with me. I understand what they're trying to say, and it's time for it. I came up in an area, in a time in life that I lived this, so I don't have to be real minded of it. I lived it. I've seen it. I heard it. I remember being 12 years old and having to ask my mother, "Why are you saying yes, sir," to a teenager that was running the register of his market that we were shopping in?" And she only looked at me and said, "Be quiet. I don't want to start any trouble." I didn't understand at that point what she was talking about, but I fully understand now. And I just like to say that I understand the protests. I don't understand the violence, but anytime you get young adults sometime in the area and at night they do different things, but we have a lot of people out there that are saying good things or saying things that need to be said that we all need to talk about at some time. We've talked about it. And we're fortunate to have a outstanding police department in Van Buren Township. I've been the clerk for almost 12 years and haven't heard any incidents of that. But we all know it's the 2% that's out there. It's the 2% of us, elected officials, that make elected officials look bad. It's the 2% of police officers that make police officers look bad. It's that 2% that does that, and we have to understand and know it's there. And then we have to talk about it, even though we might not have it. We might not think we have it. It's occurring, and we need to talk about it. If we don't want to talk about it, it's like the president said, we don't want to talk about it. We're not willing to learn, because it's always stuff to learn out there. And we have to start talking more about race and the issue of race, and not only in Van Buren Township, in Wayne County, the state of Michigan, and the United States. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Good. Anybody else wish to speak? Hearing none, can I have a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
Let's do the wave.
Everybody have a good night.
Everybody.
Good night, everybody.